Hello guys, welcome to the fiction series. Today we are gonna see, what if Naruto entered the Hellaverse and got Harem? The movie. Huge shout out to BonesBoy15 for this story. If you want more awesome fanfiction like this, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. So without wasting any time, let's get into the video. No choice but to sentence you to, what the funk is that? Satan asked only to stop. He stood. Son of a bitch. Lord Satan? Your verdict? The frosty bird pushing for execution asked. Imp, you still have the book? Satan asked. No. That's what I've been funking saying. I've been using this funking gem, which, by the way, is thanks to the only one of you I kinda like. Well, ain't that sweet? Ozzy smiled sheepishly when Satan glanced at him. Prince Stolas asked for a gem to be made for him, so he could get his book back. I didn't see the harm in it. Good enough for me. Courts adjourned, Satan shrugged. He spread his wings and turned to the sins. We have something to attend to in pride. Now, we do? Belphegor sat up and looked up at the roof. I think Lucifer's dog is loose again. He what? Bee sat up straight. She tilted her head back and sniffed. Her eyes shifted and her form became unrestricted for a moment. Then she recomposed herself and pumped her fist. Sweet funk, yes. Gummy Bear is out. If the dog is out, doesn't that mean a certain hellborn in pride got hit by an exterminator? Ozzy asked. The sins, the Goetia, and the cameras were silent. That's great and all. Now can someone get these funking chains off of me? The interrogated imp shrieked. Yo! I gotcha, chief. A golden-orange furred hellhound popped into existence beside the imp. He had an orange prison jumpsuit on, the top rolled down, and broken shackles around his wrists, feet, and collar. He snapped the chains on the imp and then did the same for his compatriots. He lingered in front of the lone hellhound and cooed at her, which made her ears burn. Look at you! Are you a good little bitch? Yes, daddy. Luna mumbled, jaw open as she took in the demon in front of her. He laughed and gave her a gentle pat on the head. Try putting a couple thousand greats in front of that, okay, pup? And expand your pack a bit, HM? Yes, sir, good girl. The dog then popped out of existence again, reappearing atop Satan's nose. Sup, duckies? Oh, before I forget, Citrep time. Adam funked up, hit Lucifer's kid. Did you guys know he and Lilith could have a kid? I didn't know you guys could procreate like me. Ahem, anyway, Adam wailed on Charlie, broke the agreement with heaven. Back to the rings, check your legions. Armageddon back up to pride and straightening shit out there. Sayonara, he went up in a cloud of smoke with a wave. A beat of silence passed before chaos erupted and the sins vanished in their own methods of interring traversal. Asmodeus pinched the space between his middle brow. I just want to know. I won't be mad. Just be honest. About what, Oz? Lucifer sighed. Who the funk signed off on a celibate option for BDSM stoms? Asmodeus raged, as the other sins tried to get over their bewilderment. B tried to be as unfunking conspicuous as possible. Naturally, she failed. B? Is there something you wish to share? Asmodeus asked with a scowl. Not particularly, Beelzebub. Funk fine. I did it. It was me. B groaned. You assholes don't understand though, the deal was too funking good to pass up. A free night with me calling the shots and getting a filling. Details? Asmodeus asked with an arched brow. Can we not? Leviathan groaned. SHHHH. I want to hear this. Lucifer grinned. In short, this number 2 is hands down the greatest funk up I've ever made. B finished with a grin. And now that I've had a taste, I want more. Wait a minute. Mammon frowned. That's edging my territory. Oh yeah? It must stipulate an edging round. Good idea, mams. Not what I meant and gross cunt. Hang on. Is this hellhound the same reason I had to accept the bargains from my shadows? Belphegor asked with a scowl. Duh? Weren't you listening? B scoffed. She grinned. He's stupid fine, a great funk, and has the cutest little baby who's got such sweet, sweet vibes. A beat of silence passed. Bitch, are you telling me I had to give up half of my Joy Popper production lines to my shadows because you want a nookie? Belphegor raged. Someone's sleep deprived. B huffed as she crossed her arms. It wasn't nookie, it was a craving. One I've been denied for a funking month. Ozzy, she's denying lust again. B, come on, we talked about this. How are they getting this so funking wrong? Kurama growled as he glared at the imps that were trying to figure him out. So, this another one of those clone things? Moxie asked. It was awkward while Blitzo tried to get Luna to come down for the surprise. He was so fed up with her welshing and ignoring his welshing that he was willing to tolerate Naruto's presence. Can I eat that one? The little fox fiend asked, voice and sentence structure oddly mature despite its high pitch. No. To both of you. The Duke sighed. The little fox fiend scowled and crossed his arms. Millie, beside Moxie, grabbed his arm. Mox, baby, if that's not a clone, it could be a robot. Moxie nodded. Can I please eat that one? The reason I said no was not because of a lack of manners, bud. Naruto deadpanned. The party at Beelzebub's mansion was hopping. Demons were drunk, hounds were high, everyone there was having a good funking time. Everyone, except me. Luna sighed as she lowered her phone and stepped out of the building with a frown. Blitzo was going to be a hot minute, he was 2 rings away. She could take a minute to smoke. She dug around in her purse and growled in frustration. No, come on, I know I grabbed a pack. Damn it, oof, sounds like you're having a rough night. Chuckled one of the other smokers on the porch. Need to bum a butt? Listen, I'm not interested, asshole. Luna trailed off as she turned to look at the speaker. Blue eyes glistened with amusement as he stared at her. Hey, you gotta bark. Respect. Here, a pack of her preferred brand was pulled from his pocket, and a single stick extended out. She looked down at it, then back to his eyes, then back down and back again. He wagged his hand. Come on, this one's on the house. Next one will cost you an arm and a leg, and… Not interested. She mumbled, even as she took the cigarette. I didn't say it had to be yours. He grinned and twirled the cigarette pack around his taped-up hand, and a lighter took its place. Was that like actual magic? She didn't know hellhounds could learn that. Here, light it up. Oh. Thanks? She took the lighter and used it. Ah, sweet tobacco-y relief. Don't mention it. He went back to his smoke and hopped onto the railing, turned and reclined against the building, nodding his head to the beat that echoed inside. She took a drag as she tried to figure out what kind of hound she was looking at. The smoking hound looked almost like a male version of B, but with a darker coat, broader shoulders, shorter ears, and stood at the Sin's height. Maybe taller. There were black marks around his eyes, on his cheeks, and lined his muzzle. A slightly loose white shirt covered his torso, while over it was a single green gem that dangled from a black cord around his neck, while some kind of blue bandana with a metal plate hung closer to his throat. A pair of carpenter shorts were held up by a black belt that had an orange fuming emoticon button pinned into one of the belt loops as a makeshift buckle, and a large green button with a paw print pinned to the one after that. His arches had tape wound around them, too. Keep staring like that and I'm gonna start charging you for the show. His voice tore her out of her thoughts. Luna flushed and stepped away. Thanks for the smoke, beep. Anytime. Try to relax and enjoy the night. He grinned and went back to his lounging. His foot tapped in the air and his humming turned into a soft singing. Everything going on upstairs is crazy. Come on, delve a little deeper, and dig into this plate with me. Whoa, Blue Eyes had pipes. Like definitely someone shed pirate music of if he had any. You're not half bad. Luna wanted to bite herself. She didn't need to engage with this guy. Even if it, outside of Tex and B, was the only positive experience she had thus far tonight. Nah, just heard that song too much growing up. He shrugged. He glanced at her, then at the others on the cobblestone, then back. You don't mind if I keep going, do you? I don't care. Luna answered, both to reassure herself that she did not care about this maybe cute rando on the railing and to, well, answer him. He nodded. Cool. He tapped his knee and nodded his head a few times. Then the part he'd sung to came up. He mouthed the words he'd already started with before he continued. Baby, we're up all night till we GT enough. This is the appetite of House Elzebub. Closed mouths won't get fed. Open up your jaws. Until there's nothing left of this monster's ball. Gulp it down now. He tapped his finger in the air and a heavy instrumental drop started. He took another drag of his smoke and then flicked it away. A loud, disgusting loogie followed suit and hit it before it hit the ground. Gross. She curled her lip in disgust. What are you talking about? I just prevented a forest fire. He spun on his seat and put his hand on his chest. I'm a hero. Sure you are. Luna snorted and took another drag of her own. She leaned on the railing and exhaled a cloud that the other weird hound immediately swallowed. Gnarly. She gave him a scrutinizing stare as he burped and complained about the spice of smog as he hopped from his perch and headed back inside. Well, thanks for the smoke, I guess. Anytime. And hey, if you decide to stick around, just come find me. I'm a wild and crazy guy. I'd be sure to liven up your party, you know. He grinned and gave her a pair of finger guns before he disappeared. Luna snorted and went back to checking her Instagram and waiting for Blitzo to message her back on an ETA. As she took another puff, she thought about the hound that gave her the smoke with a small smirk. What a dweeb. Luna mused, a small smile on her face as she took a deeper drag over his parting words before her brow furrowed and her lips pursed. Funk, did I find that charming? God damn it. Luna stared up at the sin that towered over her. Okay, she had this. She's got this. She was funked, but she's got this. This too likable and hot chick that was with the hound she had a crush on was so going down. Dissing her dad, Blitzo, was one thing, but accusing her of not knowing him as well as Luna did was crossing the funking line. She was totally going to square up and... Wha? Was Tex sad? Why was he? Party foul. The music shrieked to a stop and people took notice of them squaring off. What the foo? Oh hey. Blue-eyed smoker, what was he? Luna's jaw dropped as Beelzebub stumbled back. Oh. What the shit? Who just funking nose-checked me? Beelzebub rubbed her snout with a whine. The blue-eyed smoker crossed his arms. Party. Foul. Sis. He reiterated dryly. Sorry, Luna's still a little drunk, but what? He looked past B at Tex with a scowl. Hey, chicken shit. Drop your balls and control your bitch, baby bro, don't talk to Tex like that. Oh, funk you, B.E.S. gestured at the giant sin as if she could eradicate the entire building with a flick of her finger. What the funk are you even doing? You're funking high and you're picking a fight with a drunk hound? He looked back at her and then did a double take. Oh, he didn't know it was her. That hurt? It did a bit. Regardless, Luna lowered her fists slightly. He worked his mouth for a moment before he shook his head and glared back up at the sin. Or she's picking a fight with you. In that case, yeah, kind of stupid, but you're definitely overreacting. And Tex, you know how you're supposed to deal with her when you get like this. Come on, you lame-o beep, you're killing the vibe. Some rando in the back shouted. Funker, I dunno who that was, but I will neuter you. B.E.S. snapped over his shoulder. He glared back at B. She growled at him, and he bared his teeth. A flare of something suddenly washed over Luna, and was he bigger? Slightly? B? Shrink or I'll make you. Now, B shrank. She crossed her forearms and pouted at him. Not cool, baby bro. Was I really killing the vibe getting spicy? Oh, I dunno, B, you tell me. Because you thought that you could even get so spicy in the middle of the hall and no one else funking noticed? B.E.S. The apparent sibling of Beelzebub, like what the funk? Gestured at the hounds and other demons that were turning tail and bailing. Yeah, I'd say you killed the party, B. Way to funkin' go. Also, you owe me 15k, because I told you that Mammon brand shit would leave you easily triggered, and what happened not 2 minutes ago. Fuck! B groaned and scowled at him. She pushed him in the chest with a finger. I'm going to detox, you get this party back on track. Tex, right here. Ooh, K, he snapped to attention fast. Really fast, and he looked at her like a puppy would at potential parents. That was cute? It feels weird calling Vortex cute, Luna realized. It also feels weird making the correlation she just her red eyes widened. B is a cougar, and that makes her hotter somehow? Really hope that's the alcohol talking. You're coming with me. Baby bro, why don't you and Little Miss Sour Cream go wrangle up that imp guy? Sour Cream? B.E.S. snorted and gave Luna a once-over that had her ears burn and her lips started to curl again. He shrugged. I think she's more of a vanilla cream, if anything. Ooh, vanilla cream sounded good. Her stomach rumbled and the two apparent siblings looked at her. She crossed her arms. What? Nothing, B.E.S. said before the sin could speak. He looked at B again. He jabbed her in the chest. Go funk Tex until you're sober. Ooh, yeah, that was blunt and funk, Luna love-hated the image that projected. Damn it, why was every hot guy out there weird, taken, or gay? You're so funkin' bossy, baby bro. You never get this bossy, unless. B gasped. Are you crushing on a party pup? Luna didn't care. Luna did not care. Funk her repressed inner gossip. She glanced at B.E.S. and took in the way his ears folded back, his tail flicked, his shoulders squared, and they looked nice and rounded in that t-shirt. Whoa, drunk Luna must be a little thirsty. B.E.S. curled his lip and narrowed his pretty blue eyes. Go. Detox. Deets when I get back. Come on, babe, let's go. The Sin flew off with Vortex in her arms, carrying him under his pits like he was a toy. And that's another disturbing thought Luna was going to repress after tonight. Oh. Funk now she was alone with. Hey, Smokey, you good? Smokey? Luna frowned. Well, it's that or I call you Vanilla Cream, and honestly, it's bad enough that B calls people foodie nicknames. We both can't do that. B.E.S. snorted as he grinned at her. So you got an imp here with you? Like as your date or? No, he's my D, he adopted me. Luna grumbled. Oh, neat. A pound pup. Where you from? Pride. Like Sinner City? W.H. Funk no. I grew up in the second circle. Oh, Imp City. Never been there. Heard it's alright, you know, for hell. Yeah, wait, what is happening right now? Luna frowned. He blinked. We're talking? You know, getting to know each other like friends do? I thought, ugh, I need to find Blitz. Luna rubbed her head. Tonight was too much. She was drunk, she was hungry, and now maybe she thinks she's a little horny. Well, I can help with that. You got a picture of him? Yeah, hold on. Luna showed him one on her phone. Got it. Brace yourself. For WH? He exploded. Luna coughed and waved at the tasteless, odorless smoke until it cleared and oh, Funk. Her jaw dropped. Her tail started to wag and she might have almost written off a 9 as a 2. A good dozen duplicates stood in the hall, some yammering at each other until one, the original, put clawed fingers to his mouth and whistled sharply. You saw the imp. Find him. Yes, boss. And then they darted off in orange blurs. Luna gulped and looked back at the supposed original who watched the clones leave with a hint of pride. This close, and with the aid of that wonderful whiskey lens, he wasn't too bad looking. Not Vortex levels of Funk Me Alpha, but he had a definite alpha vibe to him, just a little muted. It made her wonder, who the funk are you? She muttered. His ear twitched and he looked at her, before he grinned again, and there's the alpha. That's a daddy alpha vibe he had hidden away. What, Luna's seen porn, that's how it worked, who th? Oh right, my name's Narozebub, but you can just call me Naruto, if either of you laugh. The smallest of the three present narrowed his red and blue eyes. I promise you that it will be the very last thing you do. Well, I guess we can say without a shadow of a doubt that we are adorable. The king under Gluttony's mountainside grinned widely, and leaned on his side to get a better view of the two versions of himself that came from alternate hells. His massive form practically eclipsed the other two variants of himself in the pocket dimension they all accidentally, and somehow simultaneously, created. And here I thought the strangest equivalent of myself would be the one that flaunts her breasts. What? I've done the masculine thing for millennia. I got bored, sue me, said the curvy vixen in a kimono, crossed her arms under her modest bust before she pulled her pipe from her mouth. So, when it came time for me to wake up in this cycle, I decided to handle things with a more feminine touch. You just want to see if female fury will empower you as it did Kushina and Mito. The king accused with a smirk. That's not a funking thing. It's just a terrible anime trope. How the funk do I know that? The fox fiend kid frowned as he puzzled that discovery over with pursed lips, probably ingrained lessons upon resurrection. Likely because your sire indulged. Actually, I have to know, as I have the opposite situation, where he is of my lineage rather than I of his. So, what's it like having the dumbass hold the same rank as Old Man Sage? The king asked his younger doppelganger. It's only a technicality, and nothing more. The kid grumbled as he crossed his arms and scowled at the ground. Not that dissuades my MP. Funking annoying bitch is trying to kill me with kindness, my deepest sympathies. The king nodded. Oh, both of you, come off of it. Queen Bee isn't so bad once you funk her a few times. Still a bit of an annoying chatterbox jackass sometimes, But once you know how to put that mouth to good use, well, you learn how to tune her out. The courtess mused as she exhaled a puff of smoke. She arched a brow when the other two looked at her, one aghast and the other in disgust. What? She pointed at the kit. You might get a ride when you grow older, she turned her finger to the largest counterpart present. And you've likely been propositioned before, haven't you? Funk Sake, don't make me funking think about that. Yes, it happened once, and that was more than enough for all of my lifetimes. The two Vulpine males growled in complaint. The lone vixen-like demon shrugged. Your decisions and your losses. I'll be going back for another threesome later tonight. Or is tonight one of the orgy nights? I might still go for it. Vixen Kurama mumbled to herself as she rubbed her chin. You're officially the worst Kurama. The two other Kuramas deadpanned. The courtess scoffed at them. And you two are a couple of boorish children. It's just sex. The courtess took another puff before she frowned. She pointed at the king. Don't you have a kingdom of inbred fox demons at your beck and call? They are not inbred. Mostly. I think, and you didn't do the nasty tango to make that happen? The courtess asked as she blew a few smoke images at her larger counterpart, all of them various silhouettes in different sex positions. The kit's ears dropped down behind him at each position, and a horrified look dawned on his features with each one. Don't be crude, there's a kit present. The king crinkled his muzzle at the images the vixen's exhaled smoke had turned into. The kid in question snapped himself from his horror and scowled at him, but otherwise remained quiet, and pointedly refused to look at the courtess. He huffed, and cleared the smoke away with a scowl of his own. The king put a hand on his chest. When I procreate, I'd put fractions of my chakra into the demon that requested it. A molding later and manipulation of cells and boom. A non-incestual baby. Unless my children screwed each other, but that's not a demonic problem. Look at Paymon's brood. Ugh, can we funking stop talking about stupid sex and procreating? I already have to hear my father and mother go at it regularly in the room next to mine. I don't need details to know how it happens. Kid Kurama complained, but you do know. You were sealed in Mito and Kushina as well, the courtess pointed out. They didn't grant me access to sensations. The kid growled. The king pointed at him, and nodded. Same. Well, it's no longer a mystery as to why you two are asexual and aromantic. The courtess rolled her eyes. She eyed the kid. Well, you might change your mind in a decade or two. Maybe you would like help getting proper experience? Don't make me kill you. I don't need that function trauma on my conscience. The kid deadpanned as the king snorted. For the first meeting, it was far from as disastrous as it could have been. Say, daddy bro, don't call me that. Since you're part of my horde, what's stopping me from ordering you to? Not your horde, no? The head of Wild Things Facilitated muttered as he turned a page in the cookbook and furrowed his brow. What the funk is a gray stag? Oh, you've got to try the gray stags. They're so good. The overly friendly. He didn't know he could accuse a sin of being such. Queen Bee salivated. On her kitchen island. Gross. You know that jerky we shared earlier after we hit the gym? That's gray stag meat cured and dried. A passing sweeping clone of Naruto stopped and took mercy on the original's confused counterpart. The bolt-up, full-blooded hound that was Naruto blinked. That's gray stag? Shit, that was really funking good. Yeah, it really is. Hold up. Bee sighed before her ears perked, and she zipped over to grab his shoulders. His eye twitched, and his lip curled while she grinned in his face. You and baby bro were at the gym? Together? Today? Yes. I don't skip weight day unless I'm on a job. I will come back to flirt about that later, sexy. Bee zipped off, howling into her hallway. Pretty pups. Mandatory movie morning with Bee. Should I be worried about that? Naruto asked the clone of his counterpart. I don't think so. The clone shrugged and went back to pushing his dry mop. Bee's weird, under-funking statement, the CEO muttered and went back to looking for alternate reality meals that his hell wouldn't have and that he could flip around for a dime, or a deal. How in the funk did I end up babysitting? Naruto muttered to himself. He worked his jaw and drummed his fingers on the table his knees were pushed up against. Should have made Kurama do this. Where is that little shit anyway? Daddy said he needs 10 more minutes before the cupcakes are done. Can I get you some more tea, Uncle Daddy? The little purple hoodie-wearing puppy asked, holding the tea set that Bee splurged on the very second she realized she had a little she puppy in her house. Queen Bee loved her baby bro cutie Rama. Naruto is never letting the fox live that shit down. His reaction to being babied by Bee and the other sins was fucking hysterical. But she was elated to have a pseudo-niece the first night she arrived with her mother. Why, of course, Princess Pickle! Naruto chirped with a grin as he held his empty cup out. What kind of gluttonous guest would I be if I didn't have more from such a gracious host? Can I get a copy of this? Lou asked with a grin as she watched a large screen recording of her boyfriend surpassing the deadweight lift of a literal pseudo-sin. She had never wanted bragging rights more than in this moment, and she usually just had to do a name drop to get that kind of satisfaction. Funk, look at those pecs. I gotta convince Doof to relax more. Loon chewed on her lip. Compact is fun, but shit, I kinda want that. I know, right? Bee gushed, grinning shamelessly. Not to mention dad ass. Funk, I want him to shit on me. Both Loon and Lou started to nod, but stopped and shared a look before they then stared at the sin of gluttony sitting with them. After a moment of silent staring, the Queen Bee looked back at the two hellhound counterparts and arched a brow. What? You want him to what? Loon asked, with Lou narrowing her eyes. Bee blinked. I want him to sit on me, she said and paused the video mid-squat. I mean, come on, pretty pups, look at dad ass. It's gotta feel amazing. That's not what I heard. Both variants muttered. The Bee present shrugged and went back to enjoying the footage with a grin on her face. That sounds like it's your problem. Naruto Uzumaki, CEO of Wild Things Facilitated, was hardly fazed when a portal opened and another version of himself was dropped onto the kitchen floor. He simply finished putting the quiche in the oven, turning it on and sighed when the other version of himself sat up with a groan. The new Naruto blinked, opened his muzzle and pointed at him. Not a clone. I'm a pure-blood hellhound, 1L. I'm from a different hell like you. Oh, so that's what that wizard did to me. The new Naruto mumbled. He sat at the kitchen island with a grin. So, do you date your baby too? Naruto stared at the newcomer incredulously. The new Naruto kept staring back. Apparently yes, he was serious. No, and before you ask, the counterpart of ours who lives here is her brother. The CEO held a hand up and waited a minute so that the questions could be halted. Once he was certain it was silent, he leaned on the island. They still funk. I'm surprisingly okay with that. I don't think I'm okay with that. The new Naruto frowned. The CEO nodded. It's a demon thing. Huh, so who are you with? Like this dimensional counterpart, I'm dating Lou. A blank blue and gold-eyed stare and wide smile was held. Naruto rolled his blue eyes and pulled his hell phone, which remarkably still worked, out. This is Lou, oh merciful funk. The new Naruto blanched. I'm a groomer. In two other dimensions, Naruto Uzumaki groaned into his clawed hands. Why were his alternate selves such idiots? It had to be their abnormally high testosterone levels. So, Vortex cucked you? Narrowzebub asked his larger, hellhound counterpart. Tex is into Vor in your world? Yes, that didn't answer the question. He did. I kicked his ass. Funked it a year or so later when we were drunk. He was the bottom. I am 110% invested in this story. Lou and Loon both looked much more awake as they stared at the CEO of WTF. Oh, would you look at that? I have a meeting in exactly right now that I need to get to. Lou, you got pickle, right? Cool. Later, other me, deuces, other Lou. Naruto mumbled as he took his coffee and walked away. Both lunar variants shared a look and then looked at Narrowzebub. What? You think I got the story? Even if I did, I'd sooner eat bleach to forget it. The Duke of Gluttony snorted. Alright, so our options, Yang. Yes, Weiss? Give me the remote. Weiss, she growled, eye twitching. It had been a long day of classes and she wanted to relax in the lounge room her team and Team JNPR had reserved. She was not going to suffer another bombardment of buffoonery at Xiaolong's insistence. Though their last marathon session had been enlightening, to say the least, but that was months ago. When Team JNPR emerged victorious at the Vital Festival just a few weeks ago, and not a single sign of a grim invasion or fall of Beacon was to be seen, the teens realized they really had just been watching works of fiction. Weirdly specific works of fiction that featured themselves, but works of fiction all the same. Why don't you come over here and make me? Yan Xiaolong smirked. Beside her, her catty partner sighed and closed the book she had in her hands. Please don't fight while I'm sitting between you two. Blake Belladonna muttered, her ears going flat. You're asking for a lot, Blakey. We all know how short-tempered Princess Weiss is. Excuse you? Oh, you're in here. John! I found them, Ruby Rose said as she called out to the other team leader. She rushed in and squeezed between Blake and Weiss on the couch, a spread of snacks distributed to each of her teammates. Oh, thank God. It took forever to find this room. John sighed. A pink and white gloved hand bonked him in the back of the head. You are not allowed to read maps, John. We've gone over this. Nora sighed as Team JNPR claimed their seats. What are we watching? I wanted to find something informative. Weiss grumbled. She gave Young the stink eye. Oh, whatever. It's day 1 of the mid-season break. Let's enjoy it with something silly. The blonde grinned as she flipped channels. I heard good things about this indie show that just got pushed. Rule of 3 if it's intriguing. Ren shrugged. They all jerked back as the channel flipped as the credits came to an end with a rock bit on the episode title card. Turn up the trouble. Then, Beelshaven, West Side aka Ravetown. In the shadows of the night, a shopping bag was set on the stoop of a rundown building, just outside the dimly lit door. A dainty paw belonging to a hooded figure rose up, hesitated, and then knocked on the door. Ah, look at the cute little paw. Nora gushed, hands on her cheeks and stars in her eyes. Let's see the goods. Lose the hoodie, that's a weird faunus. Blake frowned. Where's Beelshaven? Is that like a slum near Haven? Ruby asked. Never heard of it. Ren mumbled with a frown. No response. The paw repeated the hesitant knocks before it finally slammed on the wood. A faint creak was heard, followed by a thud, then a crash and quite a few loudly muffled swears. The figure crouched and adjusted the bag, hesitated again, before a whispered apology and a stifled sob was made. The hooded hound ran down the steps and disappeared into the darkness just as the door flung open. A tall, groggy adolescent hellhound wearing a white t-shirt and green boxers snarled as he stepped out onto the stoop, a clawed hand rubbing his head. He was a rare breed, one that would be mistaken as an impossible cross of the earthbound red fox and a dire wolf, just a more solid orange in the coat, with black rings of fur around the eyes that spread up into his ears, and his muzzle darkened from the edge of the cheek to the tip of his snout. All right, as a perfectly heterosexual girl, I'm going to say it, Nora declared. Awawuga, oh dear brothers, it's pandering. Blake's eyes were wide and the horror soon set in. What? Jan asked. Pandering is a term that was used to demean inters, but was reclaimed by the community at the turn of the decade. Pyrrha explained. She fidgeted under their stares. Sorry. My, agent was very dutiful in making sure I wouldn't make a social faux pas. Basically, the term indicates that a human is attracted to the anthropomorphic aesthetic, and hyper-applies it over humanoid characters. So, that's a costume or makeup? Ruby asked. If it is, it's really good. Jan hummed. The cream and orange fur on his neck down his chest was thick and fluffy in the weather, but beneath it was a visibly powerful frame. Section black fur covered all 4 paws from the midst of the forearm/foreleg to the pitch black claws. A limp tail hung behind him, just a breadth away from dragging on the floor, and a solid clump of russet fur. He's a fox. Wow, we learned something about Weiss today. Jan chuckled. No, you twit. He's a literal fox. The animal. Weiss scowled at the blonde. Swear on my shit, if this is you again, Rama, I'm breaking limbs. It's 2 in the funking morn. Whoa! The teens gaped. Drop the F-bomb so fast my head spun. John gasped. Maybe we should change it. Oh come on, Jan. This must be a bad guy getting roughed up or something. Ruby frowned. She hated being the reason people stopped watching things. The opening music was loud and exciting, that meant this show was bound to be, right? Sure! A high-pitched whine interrupted the hound's snarl. Impossibly blue eyes looked down at the bag and his jaw popped open. A note was wrapped around the handle and he snatched it. No, come on. I'm not this unlucky. Funkin' goddammit. We broke up a month ago, that ungrateful lying bitch. Funk. You poor little bastard, you must be an ugly little shit if she wants me to raise you. Was that a baby? Is the first episode introducing a baby? Jan gasped. Oh no. Not another feelings one. Ruby groaned. It was bad enough there was so much foul language. Quiet and eat your cookie, Ruby. Do you think they call it a puppy? John asked. If they don't, I will. Nora grinned. He knelt down and pulled back the loose blanket flap from the bag and peered in. For the first time in at least a decade, the hound immediately felt his heart melt. Eyes still sealed shut, the little lavender-furred pup in the bag was no larger than his right paw. It had a solid indigo coat and a nose that hinted it as a wolf breed, similar enough to maybe be his or her side piece. Look at the puppy! I just wanna hug it. Nora squealed, so cute. Pyrrha gushed, weird that it's purple. Ruby hummed. She looked around and shrugged at the looks she got. What? It's weird. The pup whined and trembled as it tried to smell for its mother, and he shushed it as he reached in. Oh, I know. It's so cold and what but bup easy with the bites there. Ah, sorry kiddo. I'm not your mom, I ain't got the tits. Hey, look at this, she was actually funking considerate enough to leave you one warm bottle. A growl accompanied him as he pulled the dispenser from the bag. Blue eyes examined it for any visible flaw, and then sniffed the bottle before he deemed it safe. Once he confirmed it was insulated, she could afford one of these, but not actually take care of the kid. Antichrist, he's so funkin' glad he didn't mate that lying bitch, and warm enough, he let the infant suckle away. Cradled to his chest, he failed to fight back the smile that spread across his lips. This guy has dad energy. Blake mused. TSK, look at you, what a darling little thing you are. I'm sorry you didn't deserve this, Funk, I don't know what she's funkin' thinking, leaving you with my sorry ass. He sat down on the stoop as he watched the puppy gulp down the formulaic meal. He scowled and glared out at the shadows of the night. That's selfish. Ugh, I can barely keep a roof over my head with my job. How the funk am I supposed to take care of a puppy? Her family's got funkin' bank, they could at least pitch in to take care of her so. Dow. Well, I'm not playing the pronoun game until you can funkin' talk, so let's just see. He lifted the lower portion of the blanket and sniffed around. He'd found what he was before a puppy paw kicked into his nose with all the force of a butterfly's landing, and he chuckled. What a fiery little girl. Yeah, you're an Uzumaki bitch all right. No. Weiss scowled. He didn't. Oh, so that's Naruto. Ruby nodded. Was wondering if we'd find another show with him. He's funny sometimes. This show might be okay. No! Yang groaned. Why is he furry? I can't get into that stuff. But Yang, Nora said with a smirk. He's a single father. Ooh, good point. I left temptation. There is so much wrong with you, Blake said as she shook her head. He smiled as he fixed her blanket, and then looked back at the bag. So, what did she say your name was, sweetling? An unimpressive angel was scrawled on the paper of the bag the puppy was in. The hound blinked. Did she really? Wow, just wow. Yeah, well, funk that. I don't want to see you ganked because your mom was an unimaginative moron. What's wrong with Angel? Pyrrha frowned. Well, given that the infographic that popped up called him a hellhound. Ren crossed his arms. Shot in the dark, they're in hell. So are we just call it school. Nora joked. Ren smirked at her. He stood up, a bundled puppy cradled in one arm while its bottle was held steady in the other hand. He kicked the bag to the side and ignored the crumpled letter that was with it. He lit up with a grin. Oh, I know. I'll call you Ramen. That sound okay? Yep. That's Naruto. Ren deadpanned while Nora and Ruby snickered. Damn it. Weiss groaned. Relax, Weiss. He's not been that bad to watch. Blake sighed. The heiress gave her an incredulous stare. He called me Sneeze, and it is still funny. You aren't laughing though? I am. Internally. Always. Blake's lip quirked up. The pup released the bottle and spit up on him. The hound sniffed and lapped the regurgitated food up before it hardened in his fur. That can't be hygienic. Pyrrha blanched. He just ate puke. John gagged. Disgusting. Weiss paled. Gross, but also. Ruby and Nora grinned at each other. Cool, EW. Bay. No. Yang blanched. Damn it, I was so sure you'd stop that. Blake grumbled. Sucks, doesn't it? Weiss sneered. Well, I guess we can't all have taste. Seemed like a bit much of a reaction for a rejection, though. We'll just blame your mom's genes for that, yeah? He smiled as he kicked the door shut. How about pickles? You like pickles? Baby, you gotta stop puking on me when you disagree. Pfft, pickles. Nora giggled. Impressive that the puppy is responding to his naming attempts. Ren hummed. I still fail to see what's wrong with Angel. Pyrrha frowned. She certainly could be one. Well, he hasn't met me yet, Pyrrha, Yang said with a smirk. I was so sure that the therapy was helping. Blake sighed. Please, Blake, everyone knows speeches of friendship and in-depth monologues are what cures mental problems. Just look at comics. Ruby snorted. Then, Beelshaven, East Side aka Diamond Dog Dens, an argument broke out elsewhere that night, much later. Alcohol was involved. A physical altercation followed. Voices raised. Glass shattered. A yelp, and silence. Snarls and barks reached a crescendo with a sharp whine and a body's thud. Hours later, police arrived and hauled a foaming madhound, leashed to a broken railing and covered in blood, into their cruiser. Lines on his neck left him broken. The ambulance carried an adolescent victim to the emergency center to get his eye looked at. The coroner carried the last body, that of the adolescent's girlfriend, the daughter of the madhound, to the morgue. Whoa, that got dark. John blinked in surprise. Another tally for the hell theory. Ren hummed. I'm impressed with how much was told by just flashes of shadows. Blake hummed. That's amazing storytelling. Then Imp City, Hellhound Orphanage, unrelated but not unconnected to the events in Gluttony. Just as one family was forced together, and another fractured apart, a third was forged. A snarling hound crossed her arms and grumbled sourly under her breath while the matron and an imp conversed and finished up paperwork. The imp bounced on his feet as he awaited the returned and signed approval paper from the Sin that handled anything and everything related to hellhounds. All right, sir. The matron of the orphanage drawled as she gave an imp covered in white burn scars a plaque displaying an approved adoption paper. You and your new daughter can close in together for a picture. I'd be careful though, she always fought getting her Hellbise shots. If that isn't a confirmation, I don't know what is. Blake said, looking horrified. Hellbise shots sound vile. No! Bae, why are you in hell? Yang groaned. I make a comment, but it writes itself. Wise did her best to hold back her giggles. Are the hellhounds sentient and subservient? Pyrrha asked. Look at those rooms, those are cells. Ren deadpanned. Wow, this show is wild. Nora hummed. I'll handle it. The grinning imp held the plaque in his hands and turned to the very irritated teenager behind him. Here we are, Looney! Check it out, we're officially going to barf, don't call me Looney. The wolf-like hellhound growled, found the love interest. Blake, Nora and John said unanimously, Wah, no! No! Yang scowled. This little goth. Blake, what's a term I can use that isn't too derogatory for a female dog? Bitch? Blake asked. Thanks for the permission. Yang grinned and then scowled again. This little goth bitch is not getting bae. Wait, I walked into that one. The fauness groaned into her hand. Mr. Blitzo, the picture? The matron drawled, gesturing at the photo shoot set up. The imp's grin fell as he glared at the old bitch. He turned around and put his hands on his hips. For the last funking time, it's just Blitz. The O is silent. I've told you 20 funkin' times today, that's weird. Ruby frowned. That's so funking stupid. If it's silent, why do you keep funking writing it? The teenage hound grumbled as she crossed her arms. That's what I just said. Just with less swears. You'll understand when you're older, Looney Tooney. Blitzo grabbed her sleeve and pulled her along to the photo staging area, ignoring the way her nails dug into the ground and the growls she emitted. Now, come on. We gotta get started on those family photos. I've got 15 years to catch up on. I'm 17, jackass. Funk, I was literally a month away from funking freedom. Tomato potato. Teenagers are teenagers. He released her sleeve and turned to face her while he held the plaque up. All right, we're ready whenever you are, bitch. Don't call me that. Little asshole. The matron uttered lowly before she held up a Polaroid. Smile. The image that developed only had one smile in it. There were 4 more attempts, one near maiming, and threats of a lawsuit before the new father and daughter duo walked out of Pride's orphanage with the first image and their new adoption license framed. That sounds hostile. John frowned. I mean, sounds fitting. Ren shrugged. It's hell. Point. Now, Imp City outside I.M.P. offices. This must be it. A short hooded figure huffed as they ran over to the door that had a stylized I.M.P. Immediate murder professionals embalmed on the glass. A loud amount of shrieking and yelling took place on the other side, so they knew the company had staff inside. An annoyed growl left their lips when they failed to reach the door handle. Fine. They reared their left foot back and kicked, not once, not twice, but 5 times. Excessive, much? Yang huffed. I know that foot. Nora frowned. Do you? Do you really? John asked dryly. The manic member of Team JNPR scoffed. Duh. It was in the first scene. What? I'm not explaining it. Not my fault you weren't paying attention, John. Oh, who the funk could that be? A client dipshit. Someone should get the door, right. Ilwowo funk, blitz, funk ma, tail. Untangle before you jump, asshole. Ahem, oh loony? Can you go get the door? I'm busy. You're watching an old celebrity interview. How is that being busy? That's my business, fat ass. I know this is apparently hell and all, but this is a very toxic work environment. John couldn't help but note. How businesses work down there is beyond me. Barely. They barely work. If that theory is correct, it's hell. Weiss snorted. Work is overrated. You're on thin ice, Schnee. Jan warned. Don't try to make jokes. She has a point, Moxie. It is her business, and we should respect that. But Looney, as your father and your boss, I need you to get the door just this once? Okay? Please? Okay. Okay? Okay. Thanks, honey. You funkers wouldn't leave me alone until I do, will you? Damn it, fine. The short hooded figure bounced on the tip of their toes and nibbled on their lip. They were running out of time. Hurry, hurry, hurry. The door handle clicked and it was pulled open. A pretty hellhound with gray-white fur, clad in the type of clothes one could only describe as goth, stood on the other side with a curled lip. What the funk do? Her snarl cut off when she didn't find anyone immediately in front of her. She blinked and looked around, before she growled. God damn it, I walked over here for no funkin' reason. Blitzo, it's just those little door-dashing shitters said it again. Wait, please, she said please. Ruby gasped. Favorite character, I might be in agreement with Ruby. Piras smiled. Manners go a long way. Yes, I concur. Weiss frowned. The short figure interjected, making the hellhound look down. Red eyes stared down into light blue. Without looking away, the hellhound leaned back. Hey, assholes? Did that annoying little human shitter ever turn up again after we killed him? Be more specific. We killed a lot of annoying humans this week. What? The group shrieked. But they're so kooky and zany. I feel like it's all a lie. Ruby bemoaned, hands over her eyes. The kid, the funkin' cat kid that got on all of our nerves, that feels like a dig. Blake frowned. Well, she is a dog. Jan pointed out with a smirk. You can't be that mean and make fun of her for how she looks, Jan. Ruby chided. This whole show is for the birds. John complained. Oh, him. I haven't seen him? Mox? Mills? Nope. Crumbs, that hurts. Nah, OW. Funk. Watch it, Blitz. Some of us still have feeling in that part of our tail. Well, move your fat ass then, Mills. I mean, damn. Oh, so they're so dysfunctional that they work together? John asked. Seems that way. Ren nodded. Wait, Blitz. Wasn't that the red thing earlier? Jan asked. The one whose name is spelled with an O, but kept silent. Nora nodded. She grinned. He's foul, but funny, okay. The hellhound looked back down at the hooded figure. She crossed her arms. So, are you lost or something, kid? Because the nearest daycare is, funk, I actually don't know. Is this I.M.P.? The hooded figure asked. The hellhound blinked and then snorted. You can read. I'm almost impressed. Listen, is it or not? The hooded figure snapped with a small growl. The hellhound's lips trembled and the hooded figure's eye twitched again. Her growl increased and the hellhound snorted and looked away. Luna, is it a customer or another revenge scheme? It's just a funking hellhound pup. Luna shouted back. I'm a customer. The pup shouted and didn't flinch when Luna glared down at her. Pretty sure that's illegal. Even for hell, and there's confirmation. Ren hummed. Not in some parts of lust. And a few dark corners of greed. I wouldn't recommend going th. Ah. Finally. Ooh, HAA. Crumbs on a stick. Look, kid. Luna growled at the pup and pointed a claw at her. I don't know what you think we do, but we do business with sinners for sinners, not local jobs. Sorry, but there's world building, but the dig, but the lore. Blake whined. The struggle was real. I have money. The pup growled and pulled her pink Verasica Mayday character backpack from her shoulders. What? Why is that little girl, puppy? Nora sang, carrying a backpack with a literal succubus on it. Weiss asked. How do you know? Blake asked. Advanced literature. We covered early humanity's terrible views of faunus. Weiss waved her off. It dropped with a thump in front of her and Luna rolled her eyes. Then save it to buy an ice cream for lunch at school tomorrow and go do your homework, or some shit. Gah, Blitzo, you cheap funker. You wish, Mills. A burnt-faced imp slid out into the room before he came up behind Luna. He stopped and put his hands to his cheeks. Ah, look at that cute widowfash. Oh, it reminds me of when you were that little, Lou, wumph. Ha! Good girl. Nora laughed. Eat backpack, nerd, Nora sighed. We are not going around throwing things at our classmates. But the only exception is during combat class. John deadpanned. Nora crossed her arms and pouted. Nice throw. Luna mumbled around a smirk after watching the backpack get whipped at the imp. She blinked and her jaw popped open. Funk me sideways, is that? Ugh, what truck hit me and can I sue them? Luna? Does this actual puppy have bars of gold in her backpack? Blitzo gawped as he shoved the backpack down and looked over the multiple bars that clattered out. There. Has to be. How? Suck me hard, that's about 15 pounds of. Why do you have 12 15-pound gold bars in your backpack? 15 pounds 12. If my math is correct, that puppy just carried and threw at least 200 pounds of gold like it weighed nothing. Ren muttered, damn. Jan whistled. Best character. Nora grinned. She got that Nora strength, because I couldn't get to my daddy's credit card, stupidhead. The pup snarked, her hands on her hips as she glared at him. Can I hire you now? Yeah. We're all ears, kiddo. Blitzo nodded slowly. He waved his two subordinates over and they gawped with him at the heavy bars of gold that were scattered around him. Good. She dug around in her purple hoodie's pocket and pulled out a small phone. She held it up and showed a selfie picture of the hooded pup grinning beside a fugly little Chinese crested pup the same age. What the flippity frick on a stick is that? Jan recoiled. That is an unfortunate puppy. Pyrrha winced. Now hang on. It's just a pup. Maybe it grows up into a beautiful doggy. Ruby suggested with a weak smile. Kill it with fire. Weiss and Nora deadpanned. It's a puppy. John protested. And you know, it's not so bad. It's actually kinda. Don't finish that sentence, John. Ren suggested, putting a hand over his team leader's mouth. I agree, but for our safety, just don't. It's not much different than any other dog. Blake shrugged. The humans turned to her, and she arched a brow. What? Those little monsters torment me. This is Zara. She's my best friend. A bunch of bad guys snatched her while we were walking home. Okay, I think she wants us to do a recovery operation, sir. Moxie whispered to Blitzo. He leaned over to him and hissed out of the side of his mouth. I figured that out, Mox, but we kill shit. And bodyguard. That was one time. Blitzo growled at Millie's helpful interjection. He rubbed his temples and looked back at the frowning pup. Look, kid, recovery isn't exactly an RM. Oh, I know, the puppy pouted before she perked up and her tail started to wag frantically. But you're the cheapest ones closest to home and Daddy doesn't know who you are. Someone needs to give you the stranger danger talk ASAP, not it. Blitzo declared and pointed at Millie. Mills delegating it to you? Wait, what? I mean, sure, but why me specifically? Because Moxie's an idiot. I mean, I love you, Moxie, but you're just so stupid. Blitzo shook his head. You literally got us tangled up with you while you were chasing your tail, sir. Moxie deadpanned. He was ignored. Again, I resonate with him on a deep level. Ren said with a sense of solidarity. Because you're an idiot? Nora asked with a smirk. He huffed a small laugh. No, loony, well, she doesn't play nice with other hounds, and I don't babysit. Luna growled as she went back to her desk. The puppy watched her go with slightly perked ears before they went flat. I don't like her. Nora and Pyrrha deadpanned. Get used to her. Ren told his friend. She's the love interest. PFF, that just proves Naruto has terrible taste. In food and in women, you take that back. Jan scowled. Make me, no fighting. Ruby snapped. You don't? Funny, I could have sworn that's what watching Blitz counts as. Millie said with a smirk. The older hellhound snorted while Blitzo's smile strained. Millie, he rubbed his temples and then grabbed Moxie's tail before they stormed over to his office. Look, just funkin' entertain the cute puppy that is paying us in literal what the funk wealth while we brainstorm real quick, okay? And try to get her to sign the funkin' waiver. Twist my nips about it. Fine. She walked over and crouched in front of the puppy. Hey Sug, my name's Millie. The boys are gonna go make a plan to get your friend back, but we got some boring grown-up stuff we gotta go over first. Okay, you mean legal waivers and payment agreements, right? Do you have them filed separately or are packets pre-drafted according to business? Millie's eyes went wide and Luna leaned out from behind her desk to stare incredulously, as the little pup began bouncing on her feet again and then stopped. She put a finger on her lip as she looked up. But if your clients are all mostly walk-ins or spontaneous calls, do you make them wait for results until the paperwork is done or do you do paperwork after the hit is completed? You'd be more productive if you had a separate hire or even a team to help your secretary organize the hits by location, difficulty, and flight risks. At least someone understands a good work ethic when it comes to paperwork. Weiss nodded. Oh, my favorite is just like my bestie. Ruby grinned and leaned into Weiss' side. No. Weiss flicked Ruby on the nose. Why? Oh. You're one o' the muscle. Sorry, it's a lot to go over, I know. The puppy nodded. Millie worked her mouth for a few minutes before the purple-hooded girl smiled. Can I see the paperwork? I said sure, sugar. Millie blinked and led the puppy to another side room. As she did, she looked back at Luna, who held her arms up in an equally bewildered shrug. The imp looked back at the puppy with a strained smile. Okay, Han, first things first, what's your name? Himawari. I'm just Himawari. Yep. The puppy, or Himawari, smiled back as she hopped into a seat by the table. She looked around and sniffed the air before she gagged and covered her nose. EW, smells like Daddy's room after Roxanne comes over. I don't know who Roxanne is, but she too must die. Yang frowned. She's in hell. Blake pointed out. Double death, then. Oh, is Roxanne your daddy's girlfriend? Millie asked as she pulled the required papers out of the filing cabinet. Himawari kicked her legs as she laughed. Her response made the imp pause and fight to make her mouth work again. Nah, she's just a thirsty bitch he works with. They got an arrangement and scratch each other's backs every now and then. I have a new reason to hate this Roxanne bitch. You don't even know who she is. Blake sighed. Bae. Yang grunted, arms crossed. For the last time, that's not an argument. A loud vibration had her stop and look at her cute purple hell phone out. Oh. Oh no. Oh no. Miss Millie? Just Millie's fine, Han. What's wrong? I don't think I'll be able to hire you guys. She whimpered and her ears fell back. Sad puppy? Why? Ruby frowned. Just point me in a direction. Nora growled and Reddy manghiled. Where do you keep getting that from? John shrieked. Hammer space, John? Duh. WHY's that, sweetie? I'm sure you've heard Blitzo say he and my hubby, that's the cute one he dragged off, we're making plans to save your friend. Millie silently swore to heaven and back. All that funkin' gold was theirs, right? How did transfer of funds work in Pride? She really should have brushed up, because, Daddy just turned on my locator. She whined and her lip warbled. Her eyes filled with water and her tail curled around her lap. He's gonna be so mad at me. Oh no, sweetheart, don't cry. Shoo. Millie panicked a little as she came over and gathered the hell puppy that was nearly as tall as she was into her arms. It's okay, shoo. Why would your daddy be mad at you? Is he gonna hurt you? No. It's my fault Sarah got snatched. I'm supposed to be home on time, you know? The pup whimpered and wiped at her eye. She started whining again. But I didn't listen. I was a bad girl. Gasp. Who would call her a bad girl? It's illegal. Nora gasped, her heart nearly tearing itself up at the sad puppy face. No. Don't cry. It's like if Svi was taken to get his SHOT. Ruby sniffled. Sure. Millie stroked the puppy's head and glared briefly over her shoulder in the direction of Blitzo's office. That bastard better give her a decent funking share of that gold. They'd better be able to keep it. After she had to deal with a crying puppy. Happy hell pups were one thing, this was out of her job description. It's okay, Han, it's okay. Poor puppy. Alright, Nora, calm down. It's a fictional character. John tried to appease his teammate. Not the argument you want to make. Blake shook her head. What, why? John's question was interrupted as his rabid teammate got in his face. I will break your legs, John Ark. How could you be so heartless? May the curse of pancakes be upon you, may your waffles forever be soggy and half defrosted. Nora seethed. Ren had to pull her back to her seat with Pira's help. Speaking from experience, and it's Nora. Blake answered. Another boring funking day. Luna huffed as she scrolled through Instagram and barely listened to the causal violent ambience of Imp City. Stupid lazy goth girl. Jan mumbled. She really shouldn't be on her phone while working. Weiss reluctantly sided with her furious teammate. There were a lot more gunshots and car crashes than usual, but nothing ultimately new. She lowered her phone slightly and listened in on the others. Blitzo and Fatty were still bickering over looking up the missing pup. Totally sucks to be her right now. And Millie was dealing with the blubbering little rich kid. Yeah, Luna's sympathy for the brat might have bottomed out the second those bars of gold hit their floor. Sure, it sucked losing a friend like that, but when you're born with a silver spoon in your mouth, you don't tend to notice how hard real life was. Must have hit the little brat just now. What happened? Maybe a truth bomb broke her? Meh, she didn't really care. Alright, her hourly sentry duty was done and wait. Oh, those were some heavy footsteps. A lot of them. Maybe 6 or 7? Wow, been a while since there was a group request. Alright, it was probably a bunch of frat guys that. Luna's gaze snapped from her phone to the door, ears up and alert. That sounded like a radio receiver being clicked. Faint chatter, for sure. Luna slowly slid out of her chair and lowered down under her desk. She retrieved the sidearm that Blitzo tucked in her bottom drawer. Shithead dad he might be sometimes, but Blitzo got her licensed and trained up on modern weaponry because guns weren't toys, and simultaneously tripped the silent alarm. He and Fatty should be out here in 30 seconds. Millie would have to keep an eye on the crying kid a bit longer. She slowly rose back up and returned to her indifferent posture, sidearm on her lap, thumb on the safety. Safety's on until we have confirmation. Roger. These poor shitheads have no idea the wrath they just brought down upon them. Mute it. Luna felt her ears perk at the growl. That wasn't a Cinderwolf. Those guys always thought they were hot shit up until their 5-inch exposures gave away their pasts as humans. Well, except for Hugh Grunt. 19 solid inches. Oh hey, the not Cinderwolf growler was talking again. No one fires a funking shot until I say so. If they're smart, they'll let me talk this out. Understood? Roger, boss. Copy. All right. A large silhouette blocked the light of their office. A knuckle rapped on the door. Then again. And again. It's unlocked, asshole. Luna kept her voice as steady as she could while her tail flirted behind her and betrayed her nerves. Her eyes narrowed and glanced at the office Millie took the pup into. The funk kind of mess did this pup drag her into? Because this was so not worth the... Her eyes went wide and her ears went back as the door opened. A tall, round-shouldered, tight-chested, orange-coated hellhound decked out in a fitted black shirt under a bulletproof vest walked in. He scanned the room, zeroed in on the backpack and gold bars on the ground. They should have really picked those up, before his eyes, blue eyes. Funk, those are pretty eyes, landed on her. His lips pulled up into a small smile, and he strode over to her desk. Wow, Naruto grew. John gawped. Yeah, he did. Nora grinned. Bigger. Darn it, Nora. Pira groaned. Ha! Pira's dirty mind rears its head again. Hi! Whoa! Blake let her brows rise up. That's a sexy voice. Blake, it is, young. Either he went through puberty twice, Pira started, which is totally possible. Nora nodded, or he suffered damage in his throat. Possibly in a fight or, let me fantasize how Bay hurt his throat, thank you. Yang huffed. Luna's tail wagged as the warm and husky voice reached her ears. He turned and partially planted his hip, connected to a tight, firm ass. She knew it had to be. Funk this guy's built. On the corner of her desk. He crossed one leg over the other. Pakagi estimate. Big. Big boy. Look at the size of that whammer. Nora gasped. That is large. Darn it. Pira groaned. Ha! Pira looked. Nora teased. You look too, Rin said with a smirk. Yeah, but too big for my britches. Literally, so that the ankle of his digitigrade foot rested on his knee. The act also drew her eye to the empty holster on his hip. Oh. Funk. Pardon the intrusion, but judging by the backpack on the floor, and the gold bars that I'm pretty sure should still be in my safe, I wonder if you could help me find my daughter? Yes, Daddy, by the lion, the witch, and the audacity of this bitch. Yang gasped outrageously. She did not, she did. Blake smirked. Funk. No. No. Damn it, Luna. Her eyes scrunched shut. Stupid funking, so lame, Luna. You're so funking lame. Shit, sorry. Hot are you, Funk? I mean, you're pretty, I think. Shit, clever bitch, she's got no sex appeal, so she's going for the awkward angle. Yang scowled. No, she's got the cute clumsy thing going on. It's the Ruby effect. Weiss corrected Yang. That can't be faked, double clever bitch. How do you know? Blake asked with a smirk. Experiments. I feel like we need details. Not even if there was a gun to Zvai's head. He's not even in the kingdom. My stance remains firm. Well, thanks? He chuckled awkwardly once she managed to climb up. Funk. She felt her ears burn. She was so lame. Damn it. He coughed and scratched his cheek. I think you're pretty too, Bae. What are you doing? Grab your tiny child. That should be partially mine. And go. He could be working an angle, but he could also be playing this out. John mused aloud. The other blonde in the room gave him such an evil eye, he turned away to hide from the stormy gaze. Or he should listen to you, yeah. Know your role, puke boy. Irk. What? Her eyes cracked open to find him still smiling warmly at her. Okay. Did he like? Was his thing about sleeping with losers? She could totally be a loser. Easy as breathing. Shit, she'd be the losiest loser he'd ever funking seen because goddamn, he was so funkin' holding a sidearm. The tactical clothed hunk sitting on her desk and flirting. He was flirting, right? No. Yeah? No. Yes. Yes, he funking was. Goddamn it. Yang scowled. With Luna? Lunatic Luna? Loser Luna? She couldn't believe this hot guy was flirting with her after that lame spew of words. I can't either. Yang scowled. Try to be nice, Yang. This girl's clearly been bullied. Blake deadpanned at her partner. What do you want from me? She's going after Bae, so does 90% of the freaking populace. Gasp. Blake. Ruby pointed at her. No. We don't swear like that. Put a lien in the swear jar later. I'm not even dignifying that with a response. Blake rubbed her temples. I hate to say it, but I'm on Yang's side. Weiss huffed. How can so many individuals find this buffoon attractive? Your face is red. Why? Nora asked. It started glowing after this bigger Naruto started talking. Ruby shrugged. Eyes turned to her. What? She's my bestie and my teammate. I pay attention to my team's health, guys. It's part of being a leader. Ah, lil sis. Yang gushed. Are we ignoring the fact that Ruby just outed Weiss for being interested in Naruto's sexy new voice? Nora asked. Eyes turned to her this time. She shrugged. Hey, if we are? Whatever. It happened. With her, rested his other hand, the one that didn't scratch his marked cheek, on his crossed leg, and showed off the sidearm he held in it. Nice. Ruby nodded with a grin. Now that's a pistol. It must be nice to live in your world, Ruby. Weiss sighed. But you do live in my world, bestie, better than the res tie. Not what I meant. Right. Luna almost forgot about that part. Any other day I'd love to follow up on that, but like I said. He gestured at the mess on the floor with his empty hand. Kind of looking for my daughter. We're not a daycare. She managed. He nodded around a laugh. Her tail wagged, she made him laugh. Okay. Maybe they could avoid a shootout. All she had to do was tell Blitz it was a false alarm and... Wait, he should have been out here by now, so where was? Blitz's office door was kicked open and he and Fatty jumped out, guns aimed at the hot DI left sitting on her desk and flirting with her, and goddammit, she had forgotten about that part. Okay, shit-stained to be, you have 30 funking seconds to get off of my secretary's desk and get the FUQ. That's the funk, out of my waiting room. I don't think he knows how to spell. Pyrrha frowned. That's sad, isn't that her dad? John asked. No, that's her adoptive father, Nora said, waving her hand dismissively. She pointed at the taller hellhound. Naruto's her daddy. She said so earlier. So, there's an imp in charge of IMP? Ah, no, Funk, hot DILF was leaving? Damn it. She felt her tail stop and her ears drooped. That totally funking figures. He tilted his head and glanced down. His nostrils flared and his tail flicked once before the safety on his gun was flicked off. That's impressive. Pun at bay. Oh, Funk, he was a DILF with an emphasis on the D, for 2 reasons. Luna had mixed feelings about that. No, the beep was totally worth some bad dad jokes. Yeah, impressive. That's pretty funking good. Blitzo fought to keep his face straight. He looked the DILF over and he better stop thinking that shit right funking now. Luna saw him first. Fatty clearly felt similarly. Probably more about getting Blitz to focus than getting to the DILF, as he elbowed Blitz. Right? You need something, Fido? I'm working on a job here, and finding some big dumb mutt harassing my secretary is not helping me get through it. My daughter, yeah? You got the whole shebang? A bitch and spares back home? How does the missus feel about you flirting while losing a brat? I think you're needlessly escalating the situation, you know. Let's all 4 of us. His eyes glanced at Luna and she felt her ears go back in further embarrassment. Damn it, he sawed the gun. Please tell her that didn't knock any points off. Put our guns away before someone gets hurt. You mean you? Blitzo asked. Yes, I mean I am technically outnumbered right now. Technically? Fatty repeated incredulously. He shook his head. We've got 4 barrels to your 1. I'm glad you can count. You a math guy? You look like a math guy. Tell me, math guy. Ha, nerd. Nora smiled. Math isn't that bad. Weiss frowned. It's good to have someone, I don't know, with some intelligence in this wild cast of miscreants. Weiss is a nerd too. Go figure. Weiss gave Nora a deadpan look. We already knew that, Rin said. She was interested in Neptune. Ah, right. Man, I hope those guys are doing okay. Nora drummed her fingers on her knee. He'd probably say intellectual at least 3 times by now, possibly even 5. Ren nodded. Do you know how long it takes for a 338 to cross a street? DILF asked. That's not fair. Ruby huffed. What? Weiss asked. He can't answer that. There's too many variables. He didn't give a possible wind velocity, width of the street, angle of the shot or a rifle model, custom or, Ruby shuddered, standard. It could be anywhere between 3.2 seconds or 0.0005 seconds. The room of older teenagers stared at her, save one. And that is why she's the black sheep of the family. Yang sighed and shook her head. Where did Dad and I go wrong? Luna furrowed her brows while the imps gave the hellhound a confused stare. The door frame exploded by Blitzo's head. He exploded the door frame with his mind bullets. Nora gasped. I want that. Ruby declared. I doubt that's what happened. Weiss shook her head. He was just inquiring about a bullet's trajectory speed. I'm guessing there's a sniper perched somewhere nearby. Why a sniper? Ruby frowned. Because that's what they do. Best buddy? I don't know, but no. Weiss crossed her arms. You're the exception, dolt. Not the rule. And he yelped before he clutched his arm and dropped, and Fatty flicked the safety on his rifle. Another shot hit the butt of Fatty's gun that popped over his shoulder, jostled him, and the chambered bullet flew wide, shattering Luna's work computer. Funk! She yelped and ducked down, hands on her ears. A minute passed before she dared to pop back up. She gulped and sought out the DILF. He moved so fast in such a short amount of time. Hopefully that was just in combat, and not, there he is. Oh, that's an image. His large foot pinned Fatty to the ground while he held Blitzo to the wall in one hand by the throat and his sidearm pressed into the imp's jaw. His lips were pulled back in a snarl, and my oh my what big teeth Daddy had. Can we save this picture? Blake asked. Why? Weiss frowned. Oh, you know. Reasons. Unimportant reasons. Blake muttered. She felt the weight of her teammate's stare on her person. That's a thought I can't share with anyone ever in my life. Luna thought as her ears folded. Listen. I just want my daughter. Just tell me where she is and, so long as she's not harmed, we all walk away. You stupid Funk. Blitzo lifted his golden flintlock up and put it to the Dilf's gut. I have you dead to rig. DLF holstered his sidearm, grabbed the barrel, and jerked. The barrel of the pistol was bent to a full 90 degrees. Hold that thought. Luna needed to check something. Checking. Checking. Checking and yep. Yeah. She was so glad she didn't wear panties today. Shame about these shorts though. I will not sympathize with the enemy. I will not sympathize with the enemy. Yang growled. That was awesome. Nora grinned. That poor flintlock. Ruby choked back a sob. It was gone too soon. He's a heartless monster. Huh. Blitzo looked at the pistol with furrowed brows. He dropped the gun and then noticed Luna. His eyes lit up and wait. No, he wasn't seriously thinking she'd help him with this, was he? No, funk that. She wanted the DLF to funk her, not funk her up. I will not sympathize with the enemy. Yang grumbled. You work out then? I'm a busy guy, imp. I need to be somewhere in 5 minutes? Less? So I'm going to ask again, where is my daughter? DLF growled and drew his sidearm again. His tail lashed and his ass was so funking tight. She turned the flash off of her phone and snuck a picture. I'm jealous. Yang pouted at the pic being taken. And she couldn't have one. The world wasn't fair. Same. Blake blurted out, before her eyes widened and she looked mortified. She felt the eyes fall on her and shrank into her seat. She squirmed under the weight. Oh, come on. It's a nice but. Yeah, it's not real, but come on, say it's not. You don't have to justify yourself to us, Blake. Ruby reached over to pat her on the knee. We love you despite your weird taste in booties. Yes. Love. Yang grumbled. Lowly with narrowed eyes she hissed. You're dead to me, Bella Booty, Blake groaned. She could have gone years without hearing that again. Luna had needs, okay? If Blitzo was going to ruin this for her, she was going to have something to remember the day by. Look, pal, I want to help you, but if you keep threatening me, I'm not threatening anyone with anything. Dilf's next growl shook the room, sweet funk, and he leaned in. I'm promising you that if I do not get an answer, you get a new hole, and not in a fun way. Darn it, Nora, haha. Pira is a pervert, alright, big boy. Blitzo winked at her and then looked back at DLF. I'm gonna count to 5, I'm gonna count to 3. The gun was pushed into Blitzo's jaw. Oh, that's a good turnaround. John muttered, pulling a notepad out and taking note. Using a lower number when threatened with a countdown. Does that list say phrases that make you sound badass and when to deliver them? Pira asked. No. John squeaked and put the notepad away. Oh. Shame. I was interested in number 6. Wait, oh, funk shit, funk shit, funk shit, funk. He was serious. He was serious. Luna, your funking meal ticket is about to bite it. Do something. DLF growled and twisted the barrel into the imp's jaw. 1. 2. Daddy, wait. The little brat hurried out of the meeting room and slammed into his leg, sobbing and whining as she did. No! Best girl is crying. Nora clutched at her chest and squirmed out of her seat. My heart! It cannot take this abuse. That is admittedly very upsetting. Ren nodded, all while standing on Fatty's face. Sorry. W. What? Blitzo wheezed. He gasped and grunted as he was dropped. Fatty wheezed and coughed as he was stepped off of. Lucky little shit, sweet pickles. DLF sighed, safety checked, and then holstered the gun before he picked the pup up. He sniffed and scented at her while the pup cried and whined, her tail wagging furiously while his did so at a more sedate pace. He scented her neck one last time before he settled her on his hip and let her hug him around his neck. Lucky little bitch, as he nuzzled her. God damn it. Himawari Uzumaki, you know you can't scare daddy like that. We have the rules for a reason. Oh, sweet funk, he really was her dad. Holy shit, he's a legit DLF. Her tail wriggled and she bit her lip. We knew that, but DLF status is so rare. Yang sighed. Wait. Ruby's eyes went wide and turned to Yang. Is that why so many girls at school stayed for extra help with dad? I mean, yeah? I don't know why either, but apparently he was pretty popular, Rubes. I have no true girlfriends at Patch. Ruby said in a solemn tone. Only my guy friends. Hate to break it to you, Rubes, but Grayson came out right after graduation. Came out where? The silver-eyed girl blinked. Oh, Ruby. Blake sighed. She gave Weiss a pointed look and the girl sighed before she leaned over and whispered into their team leader's ear. Oh. Wait, but he always wanted to. But that's my dad. Ruby's face shifted through many emotions. I know. Daddy, They took Zara. Took Zara, and it was all my fault. The pup whined and sobbed. Well, there's only one solution for this. Nora mumbled, gravely serious. She hopped to her feet. Ren, John, Pira, prepare for war. We're going to hell and we must rescue that fugly little puppy, Nora. Pira sighed. Right. Just a show? I knew that. Nora frowned and sat down. Now Luna had a bit more sympathy for the kid. Her dad was a glorified sexy badass, and they tended to have enemies. Enemies that didn't think twice about coming after family. No, sure, it's okay, Pickle. Uncle Rex and Cody are getting her back right now. He muttered as his lips pressed to her head. He sighed and pulled back to push her hood down. Unholy shit. She's adorable. That kid needed to keep her hood down more often. Luna might have been more willing to listen if she were distracted by the pup's cuteness. Show could. Nora and Weiss gushed. Man, not as Vi, but I see the appeal. Ruby nodded, maybe, and stroked some of her hair out of her face. Oh, and baby girl. You're grounded. Boo. Nora jeered. Worst father ever. I could think of worse. Weiss muttered. He started to walk out, stopped and walked back to the desk to put a card down that he pulled from a back pocket. A pen was clicked and he scrawled something before he set that down as well. He met her gaze from where she stared at him from behind the desk and that same warm smile flashed her way again. Sorry for the damages. Contact me if any issues getting it fixed come up. He straightened out and looked at his daughter. Come on, kiddo. Everyone's waiting to see you. You made them all so scared. Sorry. I'm not the one you need to apologize to, Pickle. Ugh, that name is. Weiss felt her eye twitch as she tried to come up with a word other than the one she was thinking. Stupid? Blake mocked. Unoriginal? Yang sneered. A food? Ruby offered. Curse it, it's adorable. There, I said it. Weiss pouted. The sibling teammates she had hugged her and cooed playfully while the last smirked at her from her seat at the other end of the couch. Get off of me. Sure enough, a chorus of cheers and coos greeted them as they walked into the hall. Luna's ear flinched by the raucous noise that their leaving left. She sighed and pulled herself back into her seat and grabbed the card DLF left. It was stock white with W. T. F. in bold faded into the background. What the freak could that mean? John frowned. It's probably some sort of gag. Weiss muttered. Wild things facilitated. Want it done right? Get wild tonight. It's a business card. Weiss felt her eye twitch. Everything I know is a lie. His business card has a pun. Yang grinned widely. Oh, great. Blake sank down in her seat. XXX get wild or WTF tonight, gluttonate. Oh, gluttony organization. She flipped to the back and there was the handwritten scrawl. Her ears lit up and her tail wagged. A personal number was there, along with a note. XXX for 58-8069. Anytime you want me to follow up. N.P.S. Keep the gold. Murder the she-bitch. She got deets. Yang howled with fury. Do you not have an off button? I feel like you have a set reaction for any time this happens? Weiss asked tiredly. Look, it helps me. If it helps me, it makes me feel better. So, why break a good formula? Yang shrugged before she went back to her rage speech, shaking fist included. Death to the interloper. Wouldn't it be Interluna? Ruby asked. Ruby N.O. Blake and Weiss snapped. Yang beamed. Ruby, yes. Brilliant little sis. She cleared her throat. Death to the Interluna. She looked at Blitzo, the hole in the wall, the gold on the floor, and her destroyed computer. Then back at her wheezing dad. She'd probably not share this with him. She saw the DLF first. No, I saw him first. Technically, the baby mama saw him first. Nora pointed out. You. Oh, you're lucky we've been banned from fighting on school property, Valkyrie. Yang growled. Yeah, 'cause I'll whoop your butt. Tabling that. Yang said tightly, eye twitching. Tabling that for another day. Once he tucked Himawari into bed, he stalked out of her room and let the doors softly click shut behind him. He made his way over to the security keypad and turned the house security on. He walked back to his room and almost finished stripping down for the day before a ding emitted from his laptop. Sighing and refastening his pants so they wouldn't fall off in the event he needed to be on camera. No! Come on! Yang groaned. That is a surprising amount of definition for an anthropomorphic creature. Weiss mused, blinking furiously. And you would know because. Blake looked at her. The internet exists, Blake. Weiss pointed out. Fair enough. He was almost blacklisted from working with Carmela Carmine for flashing her during a meeting when his then 3-year-old daughter suddenly broke in, flipped the screen up as he sat in his chair and opened the decryptor. The email buzzed as it came through, and he skimmed through it. Official report. Small-time family in greed. Funds dwindling. Heard about latest investment. His watch beeped. Ah, shit, it was Sunday already, wasn't it? Time to get this over with. He opened a private chat and requested a video call. The call was answered and a black wolf-like hound with a scarred eye appeared on the other end as he ducked into the hallway. See, for some reason, I can't help but think he's rugged. John mused. You're not alone in that. Pyrrha admitted. There's a warrior's charm to his appearance. He's missing an eye. Blake muttered. He's like a black, doggy boy version of Weiss. You're reaching, Rubes. You're reaching really hard with that one. Jan shook her head while the heiress in question gave her partner a flat glare. What you need, boss? Texas. I'm off the clock, man. We've talked about this. Right, sorry. What did you need, Naruto? Any of Queen Bee's shipments go missing lately? Naruto asked, opening another report and skimming through it. Chase policed her shells. Good, no wasted time. No. Nothing she's told me about. Hey man, I heard about the pickles. They still good for the salad? Still good. Fresh and tucked away in the fridge. Naruto sat back and worked his jaw. You get that gig with Mayday again? Day she's out. I'm back on the clock. Partying till it's over? Yeah. Hey man, you should swing by sometime. Bee wants to meet you. Sure, she does. Naruto huffed, smirking. He scrolled through another encrypted email. Not while she's got your beep. Listen, dude, you're 6 years too late to get me with that. Listen to me, I'm being dead-ass here. Bee wants to, meet you. Meet my best friend. Well, have her schedule an appointment then. I'm funking busy. He hated it when the Sins and Goichia tried to make him shift his life around to fit their needs. Yeah. Stick it to the man. Nora grinned. Nora, he is a man. Boy. Guyish. Ruby amended with a shrug. No, the man is the big important people of the world, like the rich and powerful. Like Weiss' dad. Oh. Ruby nodded. She looked at Weiss. Your dad is the man? My father is anything but. Weiss deadpanned. He wasn't the youngest head of Hell's most successful mercenary company because he bent over backwards whenever he was told. He had to become organized and figure shit out because anyone else would get it wrong, and if they got it wrong, then there was a chance he didn't get back to what mattered the most. It'd just be easier if you'd come to a party, dude. Listen, I could take a day and watch, Vortex. Naruto growled and removed his claws from his computer. They ground into the desk and clawed up the wood. The pickles were compromised today. I don't have time for your sober-ass conscience rearing its head 5 years too funking late. Stick to the funkin' arrangement you signed first. We keep each other informed, we stay the funk in our own lanes, and we don't cross territory. Wait, is that an X? Yang asked, throat tight as she could sniff copper. Is he bi? If he is, he just became immeasurably hotter. Blake admitted. Yang looked at her, and she shrugged. What? I am. Like attracts like. I am too. Really? Yeah. Huh. Wow, what are the odds you two would be partners and bi? Nora asked. Ruby leaned over to Weiss. Pissed. What's? Attracted to both men and women. Oh. That's. Ruby furrowed her brow. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Does it affect you directly in a negative way? Weiss asked. No, then don't worry about it. Good idea. Yeah, Sorry, man. I don't know what I was thinking. You weren't. You're probably high, and don't funking realize it. He glanced at a flashing light and pulled up the cameras. His eyes narrowed and his lip curled. Funkers. I have to go. Everything okay? Looks like nightmares. Vortex shifted and scratched the back of his neck. Hey, tell Pickles that I will. They know. You just keep our queen happy and the honey flowing, party animal. Naruto hung up the call before another word could get in. He closed his laptop and went back down the hall to Himawari's room. The door was opened softly and unlocked, and he picked the fussing pup up with ease, stirring her from her scare and making her cling to him again. No! Sad puppy! Nora wailed. Nora, this is getting ridiculous. Rin sighed. The wailing stopped, and the teary-eyed Nora pouted at him. She pointed at Yang. He took a deep breath and closed his eyes. Good point, as you were. Wah! Best puppy, no! Don't be sad. Come here, sunflower. Oof, baby, you're getting so big. Daddy won't be able to carry you anymore soon. He chuckled and sobered as he nuzzled her head when she whimpered. Bad dream? She nuzzled into his neck, and he walked her around her room a bit. Wanna talk about it? What you need, baby? Cuddles, bee, and the bird song. Alright. Naruto kissed her head and laid her back in bed. He climbed in with her and grabbed the stuffed Beelzebub that sat on the shelf nearby. He curled his arm around her and rubbed his nose against her head as she cuddled with the stuffed likeness of the sin of gluttony. I'm sorry, that bumblebee doll is the likeness of what? Weiss blinked. The sin of gluttony. So they have embodiments in this world. Pyrrha mused. Like the Four Sisters. Oh, not more fairy tale stuff. Nora groaned. He pulled his cell phone from his pocket and slipped through some apps. Just a short one, okay? It's late. Okay. Ready? She nodded and he waited for the beat to start up. He nuzzled her again. Now hush, little baby, don't you cry. Everything's gonna be alright. Stiffen that upper lip up, little lady, I told ya. Daddy's here to hold ya through the night. I know mommy's not here right now, and we don't know why. We fear how we feel inside. It may seem a little crazy, pretty baby, but I promise, everything's gonna be alright. And if you asked me to, Daddy's gonna buy you a mockingbird. I may give you the world. I'ma buy a diamond ring for you. I may sing for you. He nosed and nuzzled the dozing pup and lowered his voice. I'll do anything for you to see you smile. If that mockingbird don't sing and that ring don't shine, I may break that birdie's neck. Birdie, no. Ruby, come on, that was forever ago. Weiss rolled her eyes. And I'll go back to the jeweler who sold it to ya. Get back every funkin' carat. Don't funk with Dad. Good night, Pickle. Naruto whispered as he gently stroked his daughter's head before he planted one last kiss on her head. He slowly and quietly pulled out of the bed. She yawned and rolled into her pillow. He walked out and tapped on his phone a few times before he held it up to his ear. He waited for the recipient to answer before he snarled out 3 words. Rex? Kill him. Whoa, what? John started. Kill who? I'm guessing the ones that kidnapped her friend. Ren mused. But we were gonna rescue her. Nora groaned. Next time, Nora. Pyrrha appeased her. Sorry, my pleasure. He hung up at the dial tone and went back to his room. He dumped his phone onto the desk before he collapsed into his computer chair and rubbed his face. He was only 22 years old and he felt like he was going gray, which was very possible. He'd become an unwilling father at 17, and that's why you practice safe sex, bae. Yang groaned. What's unsafe sex? Bloody? Ruby frowned. Yes. Yes, it is. Yang nodded. I will only ever participate in safe sex if I ever decide to. That's a very mature statement to make, Ruby. I'm proud of you. Blake smiled. G.U.H. Blake's proud. Best buddy. Blake's proud. Yes, I heard. Weiss snorted as her team leader squirmed happily in her seat. Curse her cute yet strange wiggle dance. A millionaire by 18. How? Nora, John, Weiss and Yang asked incredulously. Maybe he won a tournament? Pyrrha suggested with a shrug. It's how I got my first fortune. Eyes turned to her. She blinked innocently, and the head of his very own, and very successful, mercenary company at 19. That explains a lot, and yet raises so many more questions. John whimpered. How successful? I demand to see his tax returns. Weiss snapped. He looked at a framed picture that sat on the desk. A much younger, thinner and black-eyed version of himself was taped up and bruised while hanging off of a pretty little lavender-colored hellhound. Oh hey, it's the puppy's mom. She looks familiar. Ruby frowned. Pretty sure she was in the second scene of the show. Blake muttered. Yes. Called it. That's totally the same paw that left the best puppy on the porch. Nora pumped her fist. She's already dead. It's a whimsy show. Well, that's one name off of my list. And on his other side was a bullier black-furred hellhound with 2 functioning red eyes really helping him stand. He smiled bitterly at the innocence in their faces. This photo taken only months before his friends came together due to shared concern for him. Came together, Oh. Blake's ears perked. She gasped. Oh my God! She cheated on him, then she got what she deserved. Yang, I stand by my statement. Yang sniffed and crossed her arms. He didn't blame them, not anymore, he just couldn't afford to. He had too much to worry about, too much to stress over, and he couldn't let anyone see it, because all it took was one glimpse of weakness for him to lose it all. Naruto dropped the picture down and went to bed. He had more to do tomorrow. Next episode? Ugh, can we not? Let's just see what the credits show. Ruby placated everyone as an argument started to erupt. Alright, your records are impressive for a bunch of greenhorns. I could see myself hiring you on. The sleep-deprived Naruto said as he set the file in front of him down. The four, more like 3 and 1 poorly disguised Hellcat, she-hounds across from him had their tails start wagging. Sans the one he suspected to be a Hellcat, of course. Might I suggest a trial team name? Team RWBY. We're Team RWBY. With a W. The small hood-wearing hound beamed, tail wagging widely. R. W. B. Y. Naruto pointed each of them out, and they all nodded. He nodded slowly. Yeah, it doesn't work like that. But dash, if you survive the probationary period, submit the proper forms to my P.A. He deadpanned. He sat back and rubbed his face. You're dismissed. Cheer up, Ruby, he didn't say no. The white poodle hound patted the sad little wolf's shoulder. The black, he was pretty sure that was a Hellcat wearing fake Labrador ears, silently followed them out. The buxom blonde she-hound remained and leaned on his desk. So, you have any plans later, boss, or? Get out before I put all 4 of you on a blacklist. He growled. The funk is that? Blake looked up at her partner with benefits to see their new boss of 3 weeks embracing a grey wolf she-hound probably not much taller than Yang. She didn't look too glamorous or special, but the goth look was hard to make work. Blake knew from experience. Oh, that's Mr. Naruto's girlfriend. Ruby chirped. Weiss and Yang snapped their heads to the young girl while she worked on some extra paperwork. Apparently, prodigy or not, Uzumaki didn't like sending underage hounds out to fight to their death. She gave him some respect for that. The hooded little red hound pursed her lips and tapped her chin with her pen. Or is she his mate? Fiancé? I don't know, Mr. Rex says they're made for each other. Mr. Rex doesn't know what the funk he's talking about. Yang grumbled. She's so mundane. Weiss added with a frown. Blake rubbed her eyes. So much for reading the latest installment of Menma. If you keep glaring at her, she's going to notice. She warned her teammates. Good. Yang huffed. She grinned ferociously. Hot. Blake would corner her later. I bet I could take her. I don't think that's a good idea, sis. Ruby winced. Indeed. I'll challenge her. Weiss nodded. A what? No. That was the worst possible idea. She's a common breed. What exactly is it she brings to the table? I, however, have pedigree. Did any of you even read up on who our boss is? Blake asked, incredulous. 20 minutes later. My pride. Weiss whimpered. My back. Yang whined. Told you. Blake deadpanned as she looked down at both defeated she-hounds. She looked at their opponent, who was only slightly scuffed, and was met with a glare. Shit, that's hot. Blake ducked her head and backed away. All yours. I don't play for the bat and balls. Keep your friends in line. And get that pup out of the funking field. The older she-hound snapped, gesturing at Ruby, who was head first in the dirt with her tail wagging wildly. Guys. Guys. There's something buried down here. I can smell it. Help me dig it up. Nope. Blake didn't want any piece of that. She watched the older she-hound saunter back to her boss and damn. She wanted, cold. Blake looked up and saw 2 glowing blue eyes glaring at her. Right. Boss girl. Off limits, funk. Your newest hires are funking kids. I know what you meant, but please don't shout that again. Naruto sighed as he collapsed in his office's chair. He let out a soft grunt when his girlfriend dropped on his lap. She snuggled up and rubbed her head against his chest. He stroked a hand down her back. Funkin' brats coming out of the literal woodwork to challenge me. This is mine. Luna grumbled and nipped at his neck and jaw. He growled back and tilted his head to catch her lips with his own. She relaxed into it after a second. Better? He asked once they parted. She growled and rested her head on him again. Yeah. She huffed. Squirt staying with someone else tonight. I'll see what I can. That wasn't a suggestion, babe. Make it happen, or she's getting scarred for life. Yeesh, you sure you don't want me to just fire those kids? You're not petty enough for that. Besides, the Hellcat's cute. Yeah, pretty sure you left an impression on her. Is that why you were glaring? Hey, my girl is my girl. Naruto growled and nuzzled against her. Luna growled back and nipped his cheek again. She says she doesn't play both teams, but I bet you could convert her. Well, no shit, Hellcat beeps are barbed with spines. That certainly killed the rising mood. No wonder there's not a lot of them. Luna snorted. She blinked. How do you know that? I'll let you imagine. You should invite her to dinner tonight. Lou, what? She's not a thief, for funk's sake. Yeah, that's the endgame, babe. There was a series of knocks disrupting her reading time. Blake sighed as she got up to answer the door to the team's shared apartment, paid for by their employer. Ruby was showering off the dirt from her makeshift excavation. Yang was sleeping her injuries off, and Whis was, ohahahu, singing in abyssal, apparently. She never expected the vocal range from the pedigree-proof purebred hellhound. Bass coming out of such a tiny variant was disconcerting. What the funk do you wahi, Mr. Uzumaki? Blake might have possibly squeaked when she saw the giant form of her boss, the hound paying for her roof and board, staring down at her. He was so much bigger standing up. And wider. And stacked. Shit. She was starting to understand why Yang and Weiss were interested. Blake, right? Perfect. Here. My girl wants you to come to dinner tomorrow. Alone. He handed her a piece of paper. Dress casual, and if need be, in clothes you won't mind losing. GUH, 6 on the dot. Only excuse is dismemberment, or death. He narrowed his eyes and curled his lip. Sweet merciful funk, those were large teeth. Wait, was she getting? Huh, Blake learned something about herself today. Don't try to skip out, it'll make my girl sad. Got it? Great. Have a good night, ya too. Blake gulped and watched him walk off. She looked down at his ass. She closed the door and walked back to her spot on the couch to lie down. She stared at the ceiling. A mantra started in her head. I'm not bi, I like booze. I'm not bi, I like booze. I'm not bi, I like booze. I'm bi, I like both. I'm not bi, I like booze. I'm not bi, I like booze. I'm not bi, I like booze. Why do you look like you're questioning your life choices? Ruby asked as she came out of the bathroom and rounded the bend. I'd ask why you know what that looks like, but Yang, our dad actually, still want to meet him. Blake mused. So what's up? Oh, Mr. Uzumaki asked me to come to his place for dinner. Hey. Blake sat up and glared at her. Sorry. That came out, blunt? Ruby winced. I thought you were gay. Blake laid back down with a groan. So did I. Remember, Ruby. You cannot tell them. They will do something stupid and we might get fired. Right, dream job on the line. Don't worry, Blake. I won't tell a single soul, alright? Maybe I'll see you later. Might be tomorrow. Blake smiled and Ruby waved as she walked down to the Duma waiting for her at the curb. The red hellhound hummed as she skipped back into the apartment. Later. Hey, Blake, can I borrow? She's not here. Jan looked around the open space and lowered the risque panties she had in hand. She spotted her sister at the table working on her sniper rifle. Rubes, you see Blake anywhere? Oh, she left to go have dinner with Mr. Uzumaki and his girlfriend. She might be back later. Ruby mumbled, totally engrossed in her work. She what? Yang's jaw dropped open. So? Luna asked as she lounged next to the thoroughly funked Hellcat, who was stuck on her back with her legs spread. Luna herself was waiting for her third shot at the cause, who had disappeared into the bathroom to get rid of the golden grossness that came after ejaculation. Everything I knew about myself is a lie. Blake muttered as she stared at the ceiling. I came like 5 times, even Yang hasn't made me come 5 times. Yeah, he's good like that. There's a reason that Queen Bee borrows him every Saturday. Luna bragged as Naruto came back from his trip to the bathroom and climbed into the bed behind her. She groaned as her hound wound his arm around her hips to tug her close and nibbled at the sweet spot on her neck. Fuck, that's the plan, Lou? Naruto growled at her. He huffed and teased her lips as he nipped her pierced ear. How's our guest? Ask her, and keep doing that. Luna moaned. I can't feel my legs. the Hellcat whimpered. Yeah, that happens sometimes. Sorry. A pair of blue eyes cracked open and looked up. Bars on the window. A bed too small for his body. A cell he was almost too large for. Fuck. The owner of the eyes groaned. He thought about the night before, what was asked of him. Damn it, Tex, that is the last funking time I help you do anything. Help? You funking call this helping? A large, black furred hound with one eye scowled as he pushed himself off of the ground. When and why the funk did we get arrested? I don't think we did, dipshit. Naruto snarled as he carefully pushed himself off the bed that was making ominous groans. He let his shoulders sag once his feet touched the floor and grimaced. We're in my room. The funk are you talking, Abu? My first room, Texas. Naruto deadpanned as he went to the cell-like door and grabbed the questionably rusted metal gate. In the Gluttony Orphanage. Didn't this building get wrecked last year in that hellquake? Yep. Naruto huffed and growled. He jerked his arm and smirked when the door broke off the hinges. Still works, they haven't replaced it yet. What in the shit do you mean yet? Vortex asked with a scowl. Naruto sighed. It's time travel, Vortex. I know, I think it sounds stupid as funk too. But you explain this shit, dude. Funk it, whatever, let's just try to get back home. That's the right attitude to have. Oof. Naruto jerked back and clutched his stomach with one hand. Funker, that's for causing this shit show. You don't funking know that I did it. I sure as funk know that I didn't funking do it. So it had to be me? Obviously. You know what? Funk you, Tex. Not even if I was funking wasted, runt. Now, Gluttony, Hellhound Heights, Uzumaki residence. Luna woke up in her boyfriend's bed to the sound of two voices arguing faintly nearby. As her mind came to full awareness, she let herself be absorbed in the foul-mouthed yaps. This is your fault, runt. My fault. Nah, noobies, you're the one that wanted to do something fun today. I wanted to get back at Fifi and her little bitch brother, and now we got stranded in the funking who knows where. This is how pups get funking trafficked, dumbass. Hey, funk you, dude. This whole let's go funk with the development lot in the Heights was your funking brainchild. You saying I have bad ideas, runt? Well, I was thinking about whispering it. Yeah, fat ass, I'm saying you have bad ideas. Who the funk is making so much funking noise? Luna snarled as she threw the comforter and sheets aside and stormed over to the source of the voices. Outside of the room where the bickering occurred, Himawari stood and shifted from one foot to another as a soft whine emitted from her mouth. Irritated at being woken up by some potential robbers and now on full alert since her puppy papers were being processed, funk off on the specifications, was in distress. Luna was grateful that after their romp last night, and before he was called away to go help Vortex with something, her boyfriend convinced her to snag one of his old shirts to bundle up in. She let out a soft rumble that Himawari picked up on, judging by the way her ear flicked her way. The pup looked up at her and opened her mouth, but remained quiet with a gesture. She knelt next to the puppy and pulled her into a hug, only to immediately be assaulted by nuzzles as the puppy let out even louder whimpers and whines. Hima, what's wrong? She asked slowly. It smells like daddy, but it's not. It's wrong and different and I'm scared, and I want to be a big girl, but I want daddy, mama. Himawari whimpered as she curled into Luna's embrace. Sure, it's okay, Squirt. Daddy will be home soon. Why don't we go use our big tub and start a bath, huh? Luna soothed the pup and carried her away from the loudly bickering duo that was in the locked closet. Once she'd gotten her puppy situated in a warm bath to settle her frayed nerves, Luna pulled a pair of her spare shorts on and then stormed the closet with a snarl. Once her eyes acclimated to the darkness, her snarl stopped and her jaw faltered. Hot damn, look at this bitch, runt. A large rotund pup with dark fur and a wolf baseline perked up, his red eyes roamed over her body. He was maybe twice Himawari's age. Today's already gettin' funkin' better. It was his partner in crime that gave her genuine pause, however. The little pup with orange, brown, and cream-colored fur glowered up at Luna with two bright blue eyes and a snarl that made his lips pull back and bare not quite fully grown teeth. His hackles were raised and his tail, a bottle brush of an appendage, flipped out like there was no tomorrow. To Luna, it was as if someone took all the best, non-sexy aspects of her boyfriend and crammed it into a puppy form to make what had to be one of the most adorable things she'd ever seen. Himawari existed, and Luna's Hima was the only funking pup she thought she'd consider being the most adorable thing in hell. Try using your nose instead of your beep, Texas. Sorry, that horny little chunk of fur was who? Actually, that almost made sense. The little doppelganger wannabe Naruto crossed his arms and dropped his snarl to scowl at Luna. She's got a male already. Huh, she does, and dude, have you ever met someone that smelled like you? Yeah, all the time. Hey, Luna couldn't help herself. She snagged the pup Naru's scruff and hugged him to her chest. My puppies are gonna be funking adorable mongrels, she muttered with a smug grin on her face. She held the furious little bastard out under his pits and smirked at him. Naruto, right? Nanya, actually. Nanya business. Yeah, this was totally Naruto. Now put me down, bitch. I have to get back to the orphanage before curfew. Lie. Luna shook her head. Look, brass tacks. You two either time traveled or de-aged. Either way, you two aren't going funking anywhere until we get you back to normal or back to your time. The funk? I read a lot of shit at work. Paradoxes and docking were not what I had expected to read about in Bitch Weekly, but it was an interesting article. Luna admitted with a shrug. Huh, just come downstairs and I'll get you some leftovers to eat, alright? And don't funk with any photos. Fine, will you put me down? Probably not. It's weird being bigger than you, that's what she said. The two pups chirped before they started snickering. Luna rolled her eyes but continued her trek with the pup version of her boyfriend in hand. She couldn't wait to see how the rest of the pack reacted to this development. It was bound to be hilarious. Traitor, oh my Lucifer Yang. Just let it go, you fool. Yang gave a sidelong glance to the corridor where her sister and a VIP had disappeared to about 10 minutes ago. She narrowed her eyes back at the Hellcat. You slept with the hottest, most desirable hellhound and that goth bitch. What about us, Blakey? You made it clear that we aren't a couple, Yang. And I couldn't exactly turn it down. Blake huffed. She chewed on her lip as her tail flicked about. There were a few rules that came up from the, Blake assumed, anyway, soon to be Mrs. Uzumaki after that long, hard night of revelations. One of the rules was that specifics of what happened and why were to be kept quiet. Luna didn't want just any horny bitch thinking they could make a pass at her hound and walk away unscathed. Which totally made sense. If Blake was dating someone as prolific and open to kinks as Mr. Uzumaki, you could just call me Naruto, Blake. I'm not big on formalities, he'd offered, totally oblivious to the look his girlfriend was giving to the Hellcat from over his shoulder. Yeah, Blake wasn't stupid and she didn't want to lose the supposed right to a regular good source of beeping she just earned. She wouldn't want to let anyone else have at him either. Especially not after he offered up a roll switch and the she-hound got out a double-ended strap-on for Blake to use. She shook herself out of the memory. I'm not obligated to tell you anything, Yang. Oh, come on. Be a sister from another mister. Yang's scowling protest was interrupted by the sounds of footpads racing across the tile flooring. Miss Blake. Miss Blake. A little lavender puppy ran in and grabbed her fingers on one hand. Miss Ruby is stuck in the ceiling. Of course she is. I'll be there in a second. Blake sighed and stood up. She glared at Yang, who was giving the pup a weird look. Hey, stop that. I didn't do anything. Stop glaring at her. I'm not. Blake hissed and then followed the puppy. They rounded a corner, and muffled whines tickled her ears. The Hellcat looked up and stared, unashamedly. Yep, Ruby was good and stuck up in the ceiling. Head first and scrabbling to pry herself free. How did she? I didn't mean to. I just wanted to make the ball float. The puppy whimpered, and sure enough there was a dead chase ball that Ruby snatched from a pup park years ago rocking on the ground beneath the red she-hound. Along with several purple runes that didn't look like any sort of hell script Blake had ever seen before. Don't tell Daddy or Mama. I won't, Himawari. Come on, let's go find Weiss. And a camera. Blake never wanted to let Ruby live this down. I know you're dragging your feet while planning to get revenge on that greed family. B huffed. No. I'm getting back at them, not revenge. Getting back takes time, and it will make them regret ever funking with my people, make them regret ever coming after my people, make everyone who knows them or heard about them regret doing so. Naruto snarled at her. He pointed a claw at her. And I'm doing that because you do not care about us. Don't funkin' pretend you do. All you care about is your funkin' parties and your funkin' vibes. Which, you know what? Fine. I don't funkin' need you. I never funkin' needed you. You needed me when that building fell on you. B growled. Only because I'm funkin' programmed to protect you, you stupid immortal bitch. Naruto snarled. He pointed at his living room, where he faintly heard Himawari and Grump talking to Luna. Those three in there? They don't need you. The hellhounds at my office? They don't need you. You know who needs you. The funking puppies at the orphanages. That's who funkin' needs you. Seriously? You and Tex. Bee groaned and threw her arms up. What the funk is wrong with the orphanages? Are you funking serious? Naruto gaped at her. She glared at him but showed no clarity or awareness of what he meant. He rubbed his temples. Funkin', I know we're in hell, but you cannot be funking serious. You cannot be this funking out of touch when they require your signature to be adopted. Do you even know why packs exist? So that pups can live free lives? It was so we didn't get sold to a mill in greed where we would get skinned, scrapped and killed as cheap food or sold to some funking perverted noble that would literally funk us until we were useless and brain dead. Naruto snarled. He pointed his claw at the miniature Sin, who looked confused. The funking audacity. If you actually funking cared about us like you say you do, you would make sure that shit didn't happen. Like, I don't give a shit what happens to a hellhound once they're grown and out in the rings. But funk you, your majesty, if you think I'm happy I grew up in this stupid funking ring shitty funkin' orphanage. I would sooner raise all of hell to ash and fight Lucifer himself before she wound up in one of your stupid funking orphanages. The orphanages shouldn't. Yeah, well, they funkin' do. Guess what? Those bitches and hounds you put in charge of them? They'll funkin' lie to your face about it. But you wouldn't know, would you? No, too busy working on the next Beetlejuice mix or planning the next party. Right. Yeah. 'Cause that's all that matters. Living wild and free. Naruto went to his fridge. He pulled a bottle of Beetlejuice out and flicked the top off at her. I can't and won't change how my life went or how it is now. But if you think I'm gonna get on my funking knees and thank you for it, then you're funkin' dumber than the goetic spirits like to say you are. So this part ends here. Alright, that's it for today's video, guys. Let me know in the comment section how was the story. And also don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I will meet you in another video. Bye bye.